Welcome back, everyone, to the 12th Annual Buffalo Run Round 2, sponsored by Innova. Throw your best. How's it going out there, everybody? BigFoot Mike coming at you live with my boy Mason. Say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for Round 2 of the 12th Annual Buffalo Run. If you haven't watched Round 1, go ahead and head over and watch that one first and come back to us here. Let's take a look at our leaderboard. Our overnight leader after Round 1, Emerson Keith, shooting a hot 15 down on the course, followed by Connor Rock with a 13 down, four-time former champion of this event, Brandon Cawthorne, with an 11 down, and then rounding out our lead card today, GT Hancock with a 10 down. And now a word from our title sponsor.
The Chalker from Innova, your 2-in-1 chalk bag and mini marker. It's a chalk clay hybrid sports sack and a PDGA legal mini. The Chalker.
Hey, I'm Emerson Keith. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and my sponsors are Meridian Discs, Legit Disc Golf, and BigFoot Pro.
Connor Rock. I'm from Pine Top Lakeside, Arizona. I'm sponsored by Innova Champion Discs and Parked Disc Golf.
My name is Brandon Cawthorne from Tulsa, Oklahoma, sponsored by Millennium Golf Discs, Villain Disc Golf, Disc Link, and Worldly's Grip Socks.
Hello, my name is GT Hancock. I'm from Bedford, Texas. I'm sponsored by Meridian Discs and Rogue Iron Carts.
All right, everybody, here we are at hole 1, par 4, 510 feet, averaging 3.4 on the event. So this is a hole that everyone's going to want to start their round off here on moving day with a birdie, possibly even the eagle.
Alongside Texoma Dirty Work, Landscape Tree Service, the City of McAlester, Sam Wompler, Freedom Ford, and BigFoot Pro. We want to welcome first to the number 1 tee, our overnight leader, shooting an opening round 15 down, 1067 rated, hailing from Terrell, Texas, and sponsored by Meridian Discs, Legit Discs, and BigFoot Pro. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Emerson Keith.
See how Emerson wants to start his round here, taking that hyzer line, seeing if he can get that in play, setting up the birdie.
We saw this line work out for him yesterday, so I believe this will probably be a good shot. I think there's a little more wind today than yesterday, though, so you never know what's going to happen.
And that's safe right there. Nice spot.
And next, ladies and gentlemen, on the number 1 tee, hailing from Lakeside, Arizona, sponsored by Innova Champion Discs. Let's hear it for Mr. Connor Rock.
Connor, just watching him in the practice round, man, he can gun it. He has got some serious firepower, and on this course, he's going to use that to his advantage.
Any of the big throwers are going to elect to take this wide route. It's just the easiest route to throw if you know you got a big arm. And did that land in the canal?
Yeah, I think that one is out of play, unfortunately.
Ladies and gentlemen, next on the number 1 tee, hailing from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, sponsored by Millennium Discs, and a 5-time champion of this great event. Let's hear it for Mr. Brandon Cawthorne.
And I may have misspoken when I called him a 4-time champion earlier. He's got 5 under the belt.
Man, Brandon, this is one of his favorite courses. He's won this tournament as an amateur multiple times, as well as a pro. So he is just, this is his backyard right here, Mr. Cawthorne. Great to see him on this lead card.
And ladies and gentlemen, rounding out our official 3:10 p.m. tee time official lead card in the MPO division, hailing from Bedford, Texas, and also sponsored by Meridian Discs and Rogue Iron Carts. Let's hear it for Mr. GT Hancock.
Come on, announcer. All right, let's see GT turn it on here.
Man, and GT had a great round yesterday. Obviously, he's here on the lead card. I think it maybe got a little overshadowed by Emerson. We may have kind of been overlooking GT a little bit. I think I called that out towards the end of the last round. But really, I think if you can do what GT, Connor, and Emerson did in round 1 3 times, then you are probably going to end up with a good score.
Ooh, man, that is just tough luck right there. OB on the cart path there, so that is going to be a drop.
All right, let's see Cawthorne's upshot here. Pretty good. He's going to have a putt back down the hill towards the basket.
All right, let's see GT's throwing third shot here.
Keeps it low. That's right where you want to do here with the upshot. One of the big keys to this is keeping it low and driven. In case you do land in the canal, you want that disc to skip out. If you're close enough where Emerson is here, you can get a bit at that eagle, though.
Okay, easy leave there for the birdie. This is definitely one of those holes where if you make par, it definitely feels a bit like a bogey.
And we see Connor does go OB in the canal. That's one of the risks here if you do try to go for that big eagle shot on the hyzer. You know, the big arms, they may be landing in that canal. And if they're hyzering out there without any speed to help them skip across, then that's what's going to happen.
Brennan there, cleaning up for the birdie.
GT will have to be satisfied with the par here. Probably not what he wanted to start this round, but he's looking pretty calm, so I doubt it bothered him too much.
Alrighty, y'all, here we are, hole 2, definitely a big score separator. And as you can see, there's a big line that can be taken over the road there. And this is one of the tougher holes on the course as far as getting off the tee. There's OB on the left side, so you're definitely going to want to make sure it's playing at 4.6. So more than a half stroke over par. And up at the basket is playing very much uphill. It's definitely wind gets swirling, and just in and around the basket can be a little bit daunting depending on your stance. So definitely one of the big critical holes early in the round for these guys to get onto a good start.
And Emerson's going to take the typical route here, hyzer between those trees. As long as he doesn't go OB left, he'll be in a good spot.
Which that definitely looked like it went OB.
So is this a little too tight? Hard to tell.
Yeah, it landed in, but yeah, this is what makes it kind of tricky, because if you take that forehand line, it's still difficult.
This hole is tough because you can get as aggressive as you want. You can go big, long, straight shot and get up here to where the cameramen are, up to where Ray is filming at. But if you're off at all, then you're either in the road OB, or if you push it too far left, then you're OB left.
Connor just barely going out of bounds. This looks a lot straighter from GT. See if he can get to skip.
Yeah, see, that's a pretty aggressive shot. Doesn't get the fade out. He's basically going to have to re-tee here, throwing his third shot. This is the dangerous part of this hole. He's going to play it a lot more conservative this time. It's in a pretty good spot there.
You can see those flags in that OB line. Shout out to DC, Daniel Cuevas, Assistant TD of the Year right here.
Cawthorne lining up his forehand. He plays that pretty conservatively, but I think he kind of had to with where his placement was. It's hard to really get a lot of distance with those trees to contend with.
Absolutely. Here, Emerson off the drop. And I bet he's got every bit of 350 back up the hill, so he's going to have to juice this a bit.
He gets that skip off the road. He's in a good spot there for a putt.
It's looking pretty decent. Setting it up right there.
I had to play skip off the road during this round as well, so the wind was good for that shot, that if you got it out there with a stable disc, it was probably going to come back. So that makes sense why all these guys are electing to go that route right now.
That's nice right there from Connor. A little bit of wind, not anything too crazy. This course tends to be quite windy, but it was rather mild most of this tournament. Man, what a bid right there. Just playing catch with the basket there, Brandon.
This was playing as the hardest hole on the weekend, so these guys are going to be pretty happy, I think, just to take a par. But the ones that do get a birdie, you're really gaining a stroke.
Absolutely. Yeah, you might even say a stroke and a half, potentially.
Mm-hmm. And this is a daunting little putt right here with that hill. It doesn't look like much from the camera, but when you stand right there and look at how steep that drop-off is, it can make a 20-foot putt pretty scary. These guys make it look easy, though.
Oh, yeah. Ice in his veins. You can see a little bit of the treetops there. Some limbs.
I mean, you can see Brandon is only 7 feet from the basket, but his eyes were level with the yellow part of the cave.
Absolutely.
So it's a pretty steep drop-off.
He gave it some juice as well.
All right, here we are, hole 3, par 5, 740 feet. This one's going to play way, way right around the hospital. So the tee shot is going to be either a big backhand ante or a big forehand to potentially get up here in the open or even possibly penetrate this first little bit of trees. This is an eagleable hole, so a lot of these guys are going to try to get there and then probably throw a forehand more tight of where the drone is flying right now to get up here for the eagle putt.
This green can be pretty slippery too. You know, you can catch an edge and you can set up a little bit of a nightmare type situation. So let's see how these guys navigate this here.
This hole is averaging half a stroke under par, so it's definitely a gettable hole. Like I said, definitely eagleable. So I think every single one of these guys has the power to do it. Cawthorne hits early tree, kind of gets a forward roll.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because there's a Mando right there at the corner of the hospital. So this plays a bit like a horseshoe type hole where you've just got to get around it all.
Pretty conservative shot from Connor there. I know he's got a lot more distance than that, so I think he just really wanted to keep that one in bounds and play it more for the birdie.
Here's this helicopter taking off and just definitely becoming a little bit of an audible factor here. But Emerson leaving himself in a nice spot here to set up the second shot.
Yep, that's a great spot there. Right here to the right of where these guys are throwing is a rehab facility, and we had a few bystanders watching us throw the shots earlier in the day, so looks like they had gotten their outside time and were back in by the time these guys got there.
You can see that Mando on the right side, that it's a Mando left, so Brandon's electing to throw something pretty stable, see if he can get us far enough around that to set up that next shot. Quite wooded in this area. I can tell you most flying the drone made it look easy, but boy, there's a little bit to navigate.
Yeah, the main thing is hitting this initial gap that you just saw Connor shoot, and then kind of whatever the disc does after that, you really don't have a whole lot of control. You hope that you get some forward roll like he did, and that's in a great spot, actually. He's going to be able to see the basket.
You can see GT pretty tight here to the hospital, so he's really going to have to throw something around that Mando and skip around with a flare skip like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a great shot from where he was. He's going to be around there to see the basket as well. Emerson in the best spot out of our card here. He's going to get to go over the hill. That's a pretty great result, I think, from where he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is OB up there at the top of that hill. A little bit of a sidewalk that's kind of hidden unless you're up there.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's rough right there.
Man, that's just one of those things, like, you know, you're in that spot. You probably aren't even looking at that branch. Like, you're just trying to visualize where is that basket through the hill.
Absolutely.
And so you're not even looking. That's a good recovery shot, though.
Oh, there's a roll. Oh, my goodness. And that just gets down. That's that roll away we're talking about here, y'all.
See, I like how Connor kind of went a little high, maybe anticipating that roll down after watching GT's. and he kind of put a little more ante on the disc to match the hill. So
Absolutely.
So it wouldn't come in at a 90-degree angle.
It's a big putt here from Emerson. See if he can get back on track here.
Man, I feel like Emerson just eats that distance up for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is his bread and butter, is that putt right there.
You can see the elevation here. I mean, you got to get your legs and drive up into that putt.
Good catch on the right side there for GT.
There we go. He'll take that. With authority there. Cawthorne cleaning that up. And Connor as well. So here we are moving into hole 4, 555 yards, averaging 3.42. Definitely one of the softer par 4s with this new tee location. That bait of length isn't going to impact these guys, but you got a lot of room here to the right and left. You've got a little bit of an area you want to kind of stick to on this left side, and then you navigate the upshot here in these rocks and this little plateau. You got OB long, you got a canal zone here that you've got to also be mindful of here off the tee. But really, it should just be a pretty stock shot for these guys.
Bigfoot's ball golf brain accidentally said 555 yards there. That would be a massive, massive par 4.
I'm watching too much good on YouTube.
But no, these guys they're not worried about that canal at all. And whoa, Connor kind of swings this a little wide. That's put himself in a pretty tough spot over there.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get creative on that upshot.
This looks pretty good from GT as long as it gets left, right there.
Oh yeah.
Just left of those trees.
And this hole definitely plays a bit back up the hill, especially as it gets closer to the basket. But this is one of those, typically for these guys, it's probably going to be a pretty decent mid-type approach.
Yeah, mostly the guys are going to just be throwing like a zone type of disc probably on the forehand because you want to get above those rocks. What you just saw with Brandon is what you don't want to happen. If that disc drops, it typically hits those rocks and rolls about 10 to 15 feet backwards and leaves you with a tester putt up that hill. What you really want is what Emerson did right there, right above those rocks, nestled in. He's got an easy 5-foot putt for the birdie.
It's a pretty tricky stance here from Connor.
It is doable from there. I've seen people get up there and convert the birdie. Ooh, this looks a little high.
Oh, okay.
Gets down in time.
So this is not a simple shot, but again, kind of setting up that to clean up a par. This one definitely feels if you're parring it, you're definitely losing half stroke to the field.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. What a catch, dude. That's a little bit of the disc golf equivalent of like a ring out or something. I don't know. Ring in.
Yeah, man. A corner pocket for
Yeah.
Cawthorne right there. Emerson just getting back on track here after that eagle. Another birdie. Moving to 18 down there. And also cleaning up a par there.
All right, hole 5, 252 par 3. This is the shortest hole on the course. You've got OB Canal on the left as well as Little OB Creek, which is dry right now, right in front of the basket. So most of these guys are probably just going to be throwing a wide forehand, trying to beat that last guardian tree. We might see a backhand ante or two. Most typical play is going to be what Emerson's doing right here, and he's about dialed that one up as best as you possibly
Man,
can.
you couldn't drop one in a better spot there. Emerson just keeping the pressure on these guys. You know, this is only one of 4 par 3s on this layout, so this is one that most players are going to want to try and make sure that they're leaving here with a 2.
Yeah, and I thought this hole would be coming in as one of the easier holes on the weekend. It's actually pretty middle of the road. It's middle of the pack, and I think it's just because it's one of the few par threes. You get used to kind of being on 4s and 5s and being able to, okay, if I throw a bad shot here, I can make it up with the next one. And this one, you really don't have that option. It's throw a good shot on the first one or bust.
Absolutely. Or if you come up a little short, or if you just aren't able to get it back over the canal, it can be OB pretty quick here. So just inside of circle 1. Let's see if Connor can connect here.
That's a great putt.
Cash money right there. All right, got 2 for 2 right here.
Yeah, and then we know where Emerson's is.
So this might be a BigFoot frame right here, y'all. All righty, 4 for 4, leading into hole 6. Par 4, 566 feet, averaging just slightly over par, 4.22. You really want to favor this right side to open up. There's a little bit of a gap here, and I'll tell you, this building is difficult to navigate around because it gets real wooded right here, and then it opens up right around this area. So you've got to kind of snake through, and then the basket's right here in between these two buildings. I can't tell you how many times those buildings were smoked a little bit. So there's some OB long, some OB to the right side. So let's see how these guys can navigate it.
I may or may not have found the top of the building during this round. So that's not something that you want to do. I don't think these guys are going to have that problem, but we will see. Emerson puts himself in an okay spot there. That's maybe a little far right of the ideal placement. Probably like to be a little more left.
What's interesting about this hole is, you know, this is one of the new changes for the year. Matt House, his vision of this, maybe a touch ambitious, but nonetheless, definitely a hole that everyone's got to navigate.
It presents a unique challenge to these guys because I think it really, really emphasizes the placement off this first shot.
Yeah, and especially the second shot once it really tightens up.
Yeah, that's what, if you're off at all and you don't have a shot over the bridge area, the bridge is definitely the widest part of the fairway for the second shot. You want to be shooting something through there. If you don't have that, you're going to have to kind of get creative and hit a gap, a pretty tight gap. This disc just never hyzers out, just stays straight. Easy to do here.
You can see there's just not a lot of gaps here for GT.
Does he find one? He gets across.
Man, that was so close to being perfect.
Yeah.
It really was.
Getting across is essential to maintain the par, though. So it's tough to be upset with that. Where you start bringing bogey into play is if you hit a tree early here and don't make it across. And I believe that kicked.
Yeah.
Kind of tough to tell where that kicked, actually. He might be in an okay spot. See, I don't mind Connors, but then you got the building to contend with, and he just misses it. That's a great shot.
Wow. You know, we saw it a little bit in the first round where you can kind of wall ride it. Now this is
oh, and Emerson actually went OB here.
Yeah, this
okay.
definitely makes it a little trickier now.
Emerson elects to not wall ride today.
Yes.
Yeah, that OB line on the right is kind of a sneaky little place. If you hit a tree and kick over there, there's not really a whole lot you can do except move on, make the next shot.
And yeah, I mean, this could be kind of stymied a little bit, so we got a little Pilates from Cawthorne to get around here.
Man, that was a smooth-looking shot,
Yeah,
though.
it's like Butta. He's going to set that up for that putt. Just right on circle 1 edge here for Emerson.
Ooh, a little short there. Looked maybe a little undercommitted from him, not his typical stroke.
Off the top.
I think maybe the wind might be playing a little bit of a factor after kind of being on the other side of those trees. You get out here to this open part. The wind was definitely ripping a little more around the basket here than anywhere else these guys had been to on the course yet.
Absolutely.
So that may be playing a factor in these guys kind of having a little bit of a floaty putt. All right, now we've got hole 7, par 4, 605 feet, averaging 3.79, so slightly under par. The tee shot is pretty much straight shot through this gap. You ideally want to be landing right about in here somewhere, or even further if you've got the distance, and then throwing your preference of a backhand or forehand up here into circle 1. The second shot can be a little deceiving because of how much airspace there is behind the basket, so you got to have that second shot really dialed in.
As you can see right now, the lead has just it's shortened down now to 1 shot, so
Yeah, Emerson's OB stroke there is going to tighten the field up as they head into hole 7.
man, these first 2 drives are not quite ideal, but I mean, that's what this course does to you, is it just puts you in a tough position to keep hitting lines. Okay, got a good kick there from GT. And that first main gap is what you really have to make sure you hit.
A little bit of wind coming through here, kind of pushing the disc from left to right. So that's probably what these guys are trying to battle. If you go backhand Annie, you don't want to get pushed too far right. This is a tough little tree line to contend with, but Brandon just kind of fought through it all.
Emerson had a real similar shot in round 1, so definitely going to have some meat on that bone to make the birdie here.
I think this is pretty much ideal.
Oh, yeah. Nice job.
Set yourself up for that backhand. Nice, easy into the circle. That looks pretty easy. Out of his hand, I thought that might be a little long, but that disc gets down to the ground pretty quick. Emerson kind of at this distance again, like last hole, and he makes the correction. A lot more committed that time.
Yeah, that's a good way to bounce back off that double bogey.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what you got to do out here. You know, you take an OB stroke on the last hole, and then you kind of have a little bit of an undercommitted putt. But if you can follow it up with a nice, solid committed putt for the birdie on the next hole and erase one of those strokes that you just took, then you're doing pretty great out here, and anywhere for that matter.
And everyone here cleaning it up. You know, here as we head into hole 8, this is another big score separator. Par 5, 750 feet, averaging 4.39. And, you know, it's a little gaps here. There's a Mando left upcoming. And I tell you, this is really one of those holes that it gets a little hairy up here into the second shot. And as you're approaching the green, the drone is flying a little wide. But up here on this corner, it does come back up the hill. You've got some OB areas with the parking lot. This is a slightly elevated basket, so if you're a little bit short, you're definitely going to have to get yourself in a position for that putt.
This hole is playing a little tougher today. Maybe that wind that we talked about as they get out here into the open.
That's definitely the line you want to take right there.
That is a great spot. That is pretty much ideal. I think if you could walk up the fairway and place your disc somewhere for your second shot on this hole, it would be pretty much right there where GT just landed. If you're being realistic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, and just that ceiling got Emerson here. I mean, that was perfectly played, just a touch high.
He's at least out in the open, so I still think birdie is possible from there. He's just not going to be contending for the eagle. So you get back here where Cawthorne is, and it gets pretty tough to even get the birdie. Maybe tries to put a little too much on that. There is OB down near that house. It kind of squares off, so we'll have to see if he is safe or OB down there. And did he make the Mando there?
Man.
I guess we will find out.
Yeah, that is going to be tight.
See, at least you get out here into the open. Emerson can get around the trees here and set himself up for a birdie.
Now GT here, definitely if he can get this one up there.
Yeah, this is looking like a potential eagle here. Oh, it hits a tree. Oh, and I guess he does make the Mando because he's throwing from up there near hole 9's OG pad.
Wow.
So it looks like he got around the Mando, but
holy.
man, that was an odd placement. I never would have thought to be there.
Absolutely.
I couldn't quite tell from where Brandon was if he was OB or not, but he puts a good one up there in the circle, so either way, he recovers well.
That one nestles up close.
Yeah, Emerson's going to have a drop-in birdie there. So this is GT's Eagle bid. He's still got a decent look at it.
Get in the air.
Ooh, great bid. That's a great bid from there. A lot of things to contend with. The tree, the wind, uphill.
Oh, that was tough right there.
And that's one of the difficult things that can happen on this course with these, tough elevation changes near the basket is if you're on the high side and you airball or skip off the top, you're going to go quite a ways, and it's going to cost him another stroke.
Yeah, I think that was just maybe a potential misjudgment there of wind.
Yeah, I think the windiest places on the course were definitely hole 6 basket and hole 8 basket from what I could tell. Now we're going into hole 9, new tee pad, new placement here for the pin. We got a par 5, 975 feet. Coming in at 5.59, so this hole's averaging over half a stroke over par. And mainly it's primarily because of this little corner right here. If you are not set up well for that corner to throw all the way around and get down here to the pin, then you're going to have to lay up and take a stroke. You really, on your second shot, want to be as close to that canal as possible so that you can throw your third around the corner.
For those that are familiar with the course, this is kind of 2 holes combined, and almost you could say 3 holes. Holes 9, 10, and 11 almost kind of meshed into one.
Yeah, I said new tee pad. It's not really a new tee pad for hole 9. It says hole 9's tee pad, but we're playing to hole 11 short basket typically for this course. So this is really just a huge mashup.
You know, again, definitely a little ambitious here with the vision from course designer Mr. Matt House. Shout out to Mr. House.
Mandos are in place to keep people from throwing over the hospital parking lot. Obviously, it's safety hazard there. Never know what could happen if a disc is going over there towards that. So these guys are going to have to stay honest and play all the way around. Looks like Connor tries to go over. Nobody said anything about over.
Yeah, he certainly has the power to do so.
Yeah. And he falls in an okay spot. So now pretty much every single one of these guys is going to be trying to get this second shot in a good spot near the canal, but not OB in the canal. And I can't tell. That's
Yeah.
not bad. That's not bad. He's going to have a look around there, I think. Maybe a little lean out forehand.
I think that was one of the common pieces on this hole is if you just do not get to that corner, you've got that tough corner to contend with.
See, like this is a little tight.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, he may not. He's probably going to have to just take a stroke to lay up around there. It becomes too difficult to try to throw a roller or try to throw a skip shot out of that canal. The big tree hanging out over the canal that you'll see here in a second really limits that skip shot.
Am I legal to be right here, boys?
Looks like Brandon's got a little tough footing here. This hill is a little rocky, so there's a few places that are not the most comfortable to throw from.
And you could see, too, that was a standstill type shot. And
That's actually really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what a shot.
That's exactly what we're talking about. You want to be close to that canal without being OB. He's going to have a straight look down. And GT's having to lay up, and I really don't think he got to where he wanted to there. Might still have a tough next shot.
Just like that.
And that's pretty great from Brandon.
Yeah, that was solid right there. Beautiful shot.
Let's see what GT's left with here. Probably a little tighter than he wanted it to be. And it's not going to stay up.
Yeah, that's what happens if you can't get around that corner and get something stable here to come back.
We'll see what happens here with Emerson. This is maybe a little too aggressive, I think, with where he's at. But he's a lot more skilled than me, so I think he put it to an okay spot.
And there's Connor just pitching out because he's just in jail right there at that corner.
And see, Connor, you may think, oh, well, what's he doing here? But what Connor did is how you avoid going OB. So I think he actually maybe takes a stroke there, over GT, trying to go for it in a similar spot. Just playing it a little safer. And Emerson actually ended up in a pretty good spot. So I take back what I said. That was probably fine for his game.
Good cleanup, all things considered, after the drop.
Yeah, hard to be mad with that putt, making your putt from OB, knowing that you're not going to add another stroke. Able to just clean up and move on.
And here we are after second round through the 9th hole here. We've got Emerson at 19, down 4 under on the day. Connor Rock at 16, Cawthorne at 15. We got Fletcher here, Jonathan Fletcher from Nebraska, sponsored by Prodigy, making a push at 5 down. Henry Benty at 13, GT at 12, Corbin Milcheski at 12. Shout out to Scott Adams, also member BigFoot Pro at 10 down, and Jordan Dodson and Micah Noble rounding us out at 9 down. The hot rounds through this point are Mr. Milcheski and Mr. Adams, 7 down through 9. So Scott climbing up the leaderboard 11 spots here. So, hey, we appreciate you joining us here for round 2, front 9. Mason, anything you want to sign out with?
Man, I'm just excited to see what happens with these guys on the back 9. There's a lot of movement right now, lots of different things that can happen. So I think the tournament can still go a lot of ways. You look at this top 10, you see Emerson at the top, but those next few guys, there's not a whole lot of scoring separation, so anything can happen.
Well, hey, we appreciate you joining us. Be sure and like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to have, we got all our players in this feature card, their socials as well. So definitely, we look forward to seeing you on the back 9. And now a word from our sponsor, Innova. Throw your best.
It's so easy to get started, and when you get the bug, you just keep going, and it's so much fun. Disc golf is a great game to get out, increase your activity level, enjoy the outdoors, and have a great time. It's a really easy sport to get into, so just grab a disc and come out and play.
No matter your age or skill, there's a place for you out on the disc golf course.
So come on out and throw your best.